Welcome to Viwanda Africa, our weekly podcast. Bestie and Eldoret, and it's a pleasure today to have a lady that I followed and admired. Her business prowess, the way she is so determined in whatever she wants to do. I'm so privileged today to have Margaret Komen. On this podcast, what does it take? What does it take to do what she's doing? And she'll be explaining to us her story, where she's come from, what is her strategy, where is she going? What does it take to do what she is doing? So welcome, Margaret Komen.
Thank you, Kevin.
So happy. Some people call you Mama Pili. The last time I met you, you were doing pili. So today we'll have a bit of pili discussions on this podcast. So please stay tuned. We really hope that this podcast will bring learning to you, will help you to evolve, and will help you to grow in your business, and will inspire you to get to heights that maybe you've never been able to get before. So karibu sana. Welcome, Margaret.
Thank you.
Let's just get to know who you were. I'm very privileged to have you around. Please just introduce yourself.
Okay, yeah. So my name is Margaret Komen. I'm the CEO and founder of Mace Foods. I come from Eldoret, went to school here. And yeah, my business is based here in Eldoret. Yeah.
Margaret, you are such a resource. I have been looking for you, and I'm so happy that I met you. Sometimes I don't even know where to start anytime I interview you, but the last time I met you, we were both hustlers,
Yeah.
I was trying to do my thing and you're trying to do your thing, and you kept on talking about pili, which I wondered, chili of all the things, really? Chili? I didn't think that chili would get you to where you are today. Please, I really want you to give us your story, because a number of people viewing this podcast would be very eager to know pili and Margaret.
Yeah.
Tell me about manufacturing, because the last time I met you, you were busy. I had not even clicked it, I really need to manufacture, but when I think about people in Eldoret, and especially women, in business, the name that drops in my mind is Margaret Komen.
Yeah.
Margaret Manufacturing. Please just tell us, how did you get into this thing?
Oh yeah, okay. Let me start by saying I have a background in food science and technology. And when I studied food science and technology, just like my parents, we thought it was about being in the kitchen. Until I went for my first attachment and I was sent to Farmer's Choice. And I had such a gruesome experience. I woke up in hospital, a story for another day, because they were slaughtering pigs and everything. And I decided, so this food science is actually in factories. And from there, I got to work with CPC. Then I left, studied in Germany. In Germany is where I had the bird's eye view of what manufacturing was. I saw everything from potatoes to chicken, to everything being added value. It was so amazing for me. That was in the late 90s and early 2000s. So when I came back to Kenya, I told myself, why not? I have to do this. But there's something else that happened. I attended a trade fair, and there was a Kenyan booth. And when I found a Kenyan trade consulate, and he was sitting there without any products. And I told him, but how can Kenya be in a food fair in Cologne, Germany, and you are not displaying anything? Kenya has avocados, it has mangoes, it has tea, it has coffee.
At that time, were you doing?
I just finished my studies, and so I was just preparing to come back home.
You hadn't started doing the...
No. It was just like, that's the time it hit me that the opportunities existed. Mm-hmm. It's different to see the manufacturing happening, but there's also the marketing part. So I'm just linking what I saw in the manufacturing and how the marketing came to link. Mm-hmm. So we agreed with him that every day I would go to the trade fair because I was free. I was just waiting to come back home, sitting at the booth for half the day. But I kept on telling him, but what are you going to display here for 5 days? He told me the guys we had invited didn't turn up. I crossed the street. I went to Aldi. Aldi is a chain in Germany. I bought fresh mangoes. In my mind, I was just thinking, what does Kenya export? Out of my head, I bought fresh mangoes. I bought avocados. I bought French beans. I think I got some bananas, just some fruits. I ripped off the stickers and I displayed them there, and the customers would come while I was seated there.
Germany.
In Germany. Out of, say, 100 customers that walked into that booth, over 30 were asking for chilies in all forms. And I was asking myself, chilies. So he had left me some forms whenever he was away, and I would take, clip the business card, write down what the customer wanted, quantities, varieties, and all that. So he told me, for doing this work, I'll give you copies of all these inquiries. So I have a file up to today, Kevin,
wow,
with all those inquiries in 2001. So that's when I realized chili is a product.
At that time, you did not have any faint idea that
Nothing.
one day you would be doing chili.
I came back with it. I came back with all that. And what for me, the numbers got me intrigued, because I was like, out of 100 people who made inquiries, 30 wanted chilies. And I was thinking, what's happening? So I did a bit of research. Remember, in 2001, we didn't have the computers and the internet that is there now. So doing research meant you really had to have know-how of how to find the information. I discovered that India had been banned from exporting to the EU.
Wow.
Because of using carcinogenic dyes. So using dyes that can cause cancer. So there are dyes like para-red, Sudan red, they had been banned. So they were banned for 5 years. So there was a massive shortage of chili in the EU. And you've asked me why chili? That is where the whole idea of chili came.
Your story is very inspirational. And so you come from Germany, you are in Kenya. Your mind is ringing chili. Just give me the story. How did this actualize? How did it start?
But when I came back, I couldn't jump on that immediately. I had to work. I came back and I was employed. Remember, I went to study so that I could come back and work. That is what family expects.
Yes.
People don't expect you to come and start a business.
You had done food science?
Yes. So I had now gone to postgraduate diploma. So when I came back, I was employed by an organization called ABLH. They had a subsidiary called Farmers Own. And that is where, you asked me about manufacturing, that is where I got really the hands-on experience of manufacturing. Do you know what my job was? My job was to set up a cottage factory on behalf of farmers in Kakamega and teach them how to add value to soybeans.
Which year was that?
2002. So I took the job. And it was from scratch. I was told, there is the piece of land, find the kind of structure you need, what machinery do you need? So here is an NGO that is giving you all this money to do this on behalf of the farmers.
So they basically mentored you to how to start your own company.
Yes, without knowing. I was doing it for the farmers. So that is when I learned a lot of things. I learned about where machines are available in Nairobi. I had to go and explore. That was my job, to go and explore on behalf of the farmers group. In terms of adding value to the soybeans, I developed 12 products: soya fudge, soya biscuits, soya tea, we did soya mchuzi mix. We did so many soya products. My boss was so happy, and he said, I want you to get this to Uchumi. That time Uchumi supermarkets was the big thing. So imagine how much I learned in 1 year. So much, just by courtesy of this job being given to me. And then I connected that to my chili. You remember what I had seen in Germany? But it came from my dad telling me, if you can put 12 products in Uchumi on behalf of our farmers group, why are you not doing this for yourself? Why are you not doing this, whatever? He felt like this was something so powerful. And I resigned.
Resigning, did you have money or did you have a strategy?
I had 70,000 shillings, Kevin.
70? I
had 70,000 shillings and the market. Remember, out of these 30 people that contacted me, several had been calling and finding out, can we get the one container? Okay, if you can't get one container, can you have one pallet? You open your email, there's a customer telling you, we met in Anuga, are we able to get this?
What's the push? What was the push that, sometimes you have a stable job, and there are many people, some of them listening here, you have a stable job, you have opportunities that, come your way, but just that step to say, I'm leaving and I'm resigning, I'm going. You had a stable job, working for an NGO. You do not have all this luxury of a bank loan or something, but you have 70,000 shillings. That was risk.
It was a big risk, but I guess it's also my upbringing. I'm very versatile. I don't like routine jobs. My profession means I work in in a company somewhere and be stationed in the laboratory, and my work would be to analyze. When I worked for CPC before I went abroad, my work was the most boring job. I come in the morning, I go to the dextrosol processing area, I collect samples, bring them to the lab, test the microbiological content of whatever they were testing, put them on a piece of paper, hand over to my boss and go home. How do you do that for the rest of your life? For me, it was just, there was nothing exciting about it. And so
you don't like routine?
No, no. I like things that challenge my mind. That you know, I always tell my staff today, if we have no problems from 3 days, they're just around the corner. They are making press-ups.
Wow.
Because if nothing is challenging you, then life is boring. Something must move, must give. So I think that was one of the reasons. Was I wasn't really bored with the Kakamega job, but what drove me out of there was, and then, so okay, I've developed the 12 products, and then for the NGO, they had ticked their boxes. They have empowered the women. The donor was happy. But these products were going nowhere. They were not going to become commercialized.
You didn't have satisfaction?
I was satisfied. Where was it heading? These women were not putting money in their pockets. Nothing was changing. Yes, I had trained them how to process. They had a little factory set up for them by the donor. It was a British donor. And then?
I'm very interested to know where the breaking point was. The moment you got to the realization, tomorrow I'm resigning. You know, I just want to leave. Because, you know, sometimes you incubate these things for a long time. But then something just hits you. I'm writing a resignation letter tomorrow. What is this that just brought the breaking point in your life and said, you know,
When my boss came and said the project is ending in 6 months, we are fundraising for a new project, and it dawned on me that the new project might mean we are doing sugarcane or another product. You know, I told myself, so what have we been doing for this 1.5 years? Where is this all going? I was actually upset. I was not happy with it, because I remember in the meeting, the boss, you know, I was a bit junior in the organization, but I would always speak up my mind. And he said, that is it. That's how projects are designed. They have a beginning and an end. And I felt so dissatisfied about it. So for me, I started just thinking, so where am I going next? To work for another person who will just, for me, it felt like I was not getting what I wanted. You know, the result was not coming to me. Like, this is where, if he had accepted that we take over Farmers Own and go to market and expand this factory and probably go into new other products, probably I would have stayed.
So maybe it's destiny. It's just that destiny was there for you.
Yeah.
You know, your path. When I listen to your story, I realize a lot of a journey that was really designed all the way from, you know, you did food science, you finally found yourself in Germany, in an exhibition, you end up getting people wanting to buy chili, you come to Kenya, you work with a company that is, you know, helping people to put cottage industries. And then it's so designed that it's like, I don't know whether I want to say fate or God or destiny, you know.
Possibly.
You just get, you know, something just happens and you're tired with your job. And so you jump out.
I jump out, but when I jumped out, I had the customer. Remember, I have the customer.
Yes.
And I have an idea what, I forgot to mention to you that one of the factories I worked in Germany when I was doing my practicum was a spice factory that was doing spice mixes. So I knew how the end product is prepared. I knew that whole part up to the market. But I had not thought about the backward integration. Where was I going to get the chili, even if I said, okay, fine, now I want to start tomorrow. So I was sitting here without a job, and my parents are asking me, so what? Umewacha kazi ndio ufanye nini? I want to start chili business.
You don't know where you're going to get chili, how chili.
When I think back about it, I feel like laughing really, because I remember we had an event. I can't remember, it was my grandmother passed away in 2004, and we went for the funeral, and all my aunties called me to the back of the tent because nilikuwa sasa I was becoming too much. You know, talk to this child. People go to school to come first, get a job, then get married. You know, there's a sequence that is set by life. Then me, I'm trying to start saying I'm doing pili pili. You know, everybody thought there's something wrong with you. But the more they said you can't do it, I'm telling you, but I've just finished something wonderful in Kakamega. But you see, these guys hadn't seen it. Those days, there was no the phones and the pictures you have nowadays where you can say, you know, look at what I was doing. I didn't have evidence of what I had done in Kakamega. So when I'm telling people, I can do it, you guys, I've done this. I know I was in Japan at the market. Everybody was just looking at me, those ones of, okay. So here's a situation where the more everybody around you thinks you're going crazy with this pili story, the more you're telling yourself, I need to prove a point. Wow. And it got so strong that I needed to actually do it. So I came from Kakamega. I rented a house. My parents own some property here in town. And they told me, so as you're thinking of this chili thing, it had become such a talk in the family that was this pili maneno of this one. What are you going to be eating meanwhile? So I told them, give me a space. Do you know what I did, Kevin? I opened a salon just to convince them that I'm not going to bother you people. It was coming out like, how do you resign? You don't have another job, and then you're just going to be a burden for everybody. That's the connotation that it was bringing. But I had my 70,000, I had my 70,000. So as I was sitting there running my salon, I started now visualizing how I'm going to actualize this thing. So I contacted the first customer. I said, I'd like you to give me an order. He told me, oh, you finally found the chilies. I said, yes, they're available. But do you know I was basing that from what I saw on the highway? I don't even know if you remember that when you drive from past Webuye, towards the border, you'll always see cassava and chilies being dried on the side of the road. Oh, I've never yes, yeah, you'll just see some chilies. So that's what I was basing on. I was telling myself, I'll just drive down there and get those chilies. In my mind, I hadn't understood what a container of chilies was. A container of chilies is full it's a lot of chili. Do you know what Mr. Bandari of Global Foods did? He sent me an order. Kevin, I have nothing. I'm sitting in that salon in Sosiani Street and I have an order. I kept on looking at it. I'm thinking, how am I going to start? And you know what he told me? He told me, give me chili powder. How am I going to get the chili? How am I going to crush it? How am I going to package it? And then he's telling me, let me know whether you're going to pack in 20 kg sacks, printed bags, or I don't know what craft. He was using some technical languages. I have no idea where these things are going to be done.
Let me ask you a question. And I was going to ask you a question towards the end of the program. Just listening to you, do you think this is your purpose? What you're doing?
Yes.
It is your purpose?
It is. Because when I remember when I was sitting in the factory in Germany where I worked, I kept on telling myself I need to do this in Kenya. Because there wasn't anything so complicated there. Whatever they were doing in Gewurzmühlen where I worked, there was no science. It wasn't rocket science. And I kept on asking myself, why is it that the Mzungus have to do this and us we can't do it?
The Germans, the Japanese call it your ikigai.
Yes.
It was your ikigai.
Yes.
Purpose is like pregnancy. Sometimes when it's time for you to give birth, you will give birth. Whichever way, yes. You can't prevent it. And I think for you, time had come for you to give birth. Whether it's on the road, yes. Whether it's on in the house, you just have to give birth. Yeah. So I think time had come for you to jump out of this, and you jump out, and you had to get this thing out.
And remember, before I went to Germany, the reason even I went to Germany is I had been employed at CPC, and I was gotten the job. Those connection jobs. Mm-hmm. I was so dissatisfied at that job, and I was with even 3 of my former class college mates. Mm-hmm. But I told myself, now what is this, So going to Germany was also another escaping a space that was too tight for me. Mm-hmm. And I went to Germany, I really loved that space. And I told myself, I want to bring what I've seen there here. But when I reached here, the environment was not accommodating me. I mean, other than the fact that I landed in an organization that gave me that opportunity, the rest of the world was not ready for me. I remember when I sat down and started I said, where can I get information about exporting? I've not thought of manufacturing. The manufacturing part, I'm like, let me first find out how do we even export? I walked to, that time it was called Export Promotion Council. And I remember there was a gentleman, I think he retired last year, the gentleman I met there, and a lady. And they were staring at me like they had dropped, I don't know from where. Because the things I'm telling them, they're looking at me like, what is wrong with these children of nowadays? The way nowadays we talk about Gen Zs, I can imagine they were just looking at me and thinking, okay, what is she asking us? And later on, this lady would tell this story about how I was so determined to get information about export. And they told me, do you have a company? I said, no. And they said, so you want to export using your own name?
This is giving out on the street. You're not prepared, no napkins, nothing, no basin to wash. You just pop, you've given birth. It's purpose. This is the way you have something burning.
Yeah.
And I think purpose drives you crazy. When it's time to give birth, I told you, it's time.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get to realize you actually were totally not prepared.
I wasn't, because I didn't know even what it took to have a company. So I looked for a friend of mine called Irene Kipkolum. And I told her I need to register a company. She was working for BM Patel. And she told me, I have a friend. He's a lawyer. Let's go to his office in National Bank building. Guess who that is? The current Judge Luka Kimaru.
Wow.
His farm was in... So we met him, and then he said, okay, give me 3 names. He just shoved a piece of paper at me and said, I need 3 names to register your company. I didn't even have the names of the business I wanted to register. So I started now coining Margaret, Chebiwat. Okay. Then I just ended up writing Mace Foods.
So that's how Mace Foods was born?
Yes, so just my initials, and then, but I knew there was a spice called Mace.
Wow.
So it really, there's a spice made from nutmeg.
Everything just was able to fall in.
But I didn't know if Mace Foods, my choice number 1 was going to be, because you give out 3 names. And I paid 8,000 shillings. After, I think, 2 weeks, he told me, your company is now registered.
Wow.
Then now, the company is registered. I went back to the export people. They said, okay, where is the product? That was the hardest part, Kevin. Knowing what to do, or even where to get information on what to do. First and foremost, I needed to find out where are these chilies. So I took my mom's car and I drove to Malaba. And on the way, actually, I found the chilies. I met some gentlemen in a center there called Kimaeti. I said, where are these chilies going? They said, there are people who produce here a lot of chilies. So I won't believe it that one of the people I met then, I still buy from him. He's called Jakait. Yes, he's in Luakaka.
Until today?
Until today. There's even a store there
That's
branded.
How many years ago?
That's 26 years ago.
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, the relationships you build along the way, never lose that, memorialize everything.
There's something you've said that I think for the young boys and girls and the people who are interested in starting Viwanda, sometimes you resign and want to get to do something. Then you grapple in the dark because there are not many people to hold you, to show you this is the way, And I think it's a story with so many business people. Yeah. Before they finally form, you realize that they had to really grapple like you did. Yeah. Go here, no information. Go here, no information. You spend a long time trying to finally get yourself settled before you're able to take off.
Yeah, sure. And I always even tell the people that I mentor now that you guys are living in a very good era where information is at your fingertip. That time, you don't even know what are the documentations required for you to export. You go to one office, you're sent to another office. And I was running around, and I remember I would go back home in the evening and they would say, the pili pili dream. I'm so tired, exhausted, drained, I have nothing.
That pili pili dream has given us this.
Yes.
That pili pili dream has given us this.
Yeah.
And that pili pili dream has given us cayenne.
Yeah.
I'm sure those that doubted you many years ago, today they are seeing cayenne, they are seeing chili. Tell me, Margaret, you are out, you've groped in the dark. Finally, I just want to get the story. How did Mace
you put together?
Yeah. How did you put all these pieces together to get a company that is not just Kenyan? It is international.
But initially I owned the business 100%. But the first step was the customer kept on telling me, the first customer that gave me the order was a very kind person because he had met me in person.
That was your first customer?
Yes, he had met me in person in the exhibition and he knew I was a young girl. So he wanted to really...
This time you had Mace Food?
No, before I had Mace Foods. Remember I had met these guys and came back with... I kept on contacting them. So he was a bit patient. I would say he was extra patient. And so he told me, what you do, the process you need to do is get me a sample first. So I moved out of home because I was tired of going back in the evening and being hammered with this pili pili of stories. How far are you? So I first got my own house. somewhere in Pioneer, and then from there I prepared a sample. And imagine, Kevin, I blended that chili. After I came from Malaba, I came with a small half a sack. I blended it with a blender in the house.
The normal blender, the kitchen
Yes,
blender?
yes. Then nikachuchunga, then I put in a sachet, labeled it, and sent it to the customer. He told me, excellent. We've done the analysis. Now, Margaret, we need that container.
A whole
container of chili powder. I don't, first and foremost, we've not discussed price or anything. I don't even know how to cost it. But my headache now was, where am I going to get the chili? How am I going to grind it? There was so much back issues that were just still open. Do you remember a company called Marina Machineries? I discovered it closed recently. I was very saddened.
In Eldoret?
They had a branch in Eldoret and they had another branch, the main branch was in Nairobi. So somebody told me, go to Marina Machineries, they have those milling things. So I went to Nairobi. I pondered those 504s. At 5 in the morning, I went to Nairobi. They sold me a machine worth 80,000. Kevin, if you come to my factory, that machine is still there.
What was the machine about? Grinding?
Ni kama hii ya kushaga mahindi. Yes. Just something similar to that, but now it was made somehow like, he told me it grinds anything. So I put it in, I think the courier, those days, was there a courier or I don't know which company used to transport, and it followed me and I came to Eldoret with it. Put it in my kitchen.
After using the kitchen grinder, so yes. This was your next machine. You
know how crazy this was? I was thinking I was going to do this in my house. I was going to fill a container from my house. So I started grinding. And these were apartments. So I started grinding. The next thing I saw the landlord coming. He told me, the tenants have all complained, you have to. No, the chili, everybody was sneezing. People with children in the estate.
You must be sneezing.
Yeah. Every time I watched that thing, everybody was sneezing. So I told the landlord, told me, surely, what are you doing with pili pili in this house? Everybody is complaining in the whole, it was I think a 4 apartment block. So I realized I can't do it here. So now I'm running out of money. My salon was making some money. So I would get money from the salon and I'm doing these funny things behind here. So I decided, let me look for a place where I can commercialize. I went back to my friend Irene. She told me, you don't know there is KIE in Eldoret? I didn't even know there was KIE in Eldoret. So I went to KIE and I got a little space. I put my machine there. You know, sometimes
they gave you space.
I rented space. There's a lady who had a big go down, but she was not able to get somebody to take the whole go down. So she would like partition and give you space and give another person to do something else. So she gave me space for, I think it was 10,000 or 8,000 per month, something like that. Put my machine of 8,000 there. I got a desk and a chair and I was seated there. I have my company.
Mace Foods?
Yes.
Wow.
That's how Mace Foods started.
You started in you said how? 8 by?
Really a small, I can't remember how many meters, 4 by 6 meters square, something like that.
So the machine was, where the machine was
my desk next.
Was your desk?
And that's it. And my few sacks. And then now I milled the half a sack, it got finished, I went to get more.
So let's look at the journey from your house kitchen.
Yes.
Then that's where you started. You're thrown out. From house kitchen to
this little space in KIE.
Yes.
Yes. So I started milling and then it hit me, and we are communicating with the customer. How far are you? When I mill, I weigh, it's only 6 kilos. I'm like, so when am I going to fill this container? So I went online and I discovered. Was
it a 40 feet or a 20 feet container?
It was a 20 feet container. I discovered I needed 14,000 kilos. And I had gone to Malaba 3 times and I only had 16 kilos.
That's 14 tons.
Yes. I was like, I have to think differently. And I was taught to be honest. And even in business, you have to be honest. Tell the customer the truth, no matter how painful it is. So I just called Global Foods and I told them, you guys, can we defer this order to 2006? I'm defying it 2 years later. Why? I'm defying it, Kevin. Why? I have nothing. I have nothing to sell. I have nothing to give them. So why am I clinging to this? I'm at 16 kilos. This guy needs 14,000.
Tell me, was it about money, how to buy the chili, or you just didn't know where to get the chili?
It wasn't only, even assuming I got the chili, how was I going to process 14 tons when this thing was churning, I think, 4 kilos in 6 hours or something? So it just, this dream was gone. And I just sat there and I was thinking, okay, so now what am I going to do? So I'm going back to this shame. Everybody told me it won't work. Look at me now. You know, I was feeling so ashamed. Then, while I lived in Germany, there's a family that used to accommodate me, an elderly couple. That time they were not elderly, they were in their 50s, I think. So we would talk. Then one day they told me, you sound very low. Did you get a job? What are you doing? I said, no, I got a job. I resigned. Well, they told them the story. They said, what? But we can help you, Margaret. What do you need? I said, is it money? I said, I don't think it's money. What is it? And the husband had worked for UNIDO, was an economist, and the wife was a linguist. She had worked for World Bank. So they said, we're coming to Kenya to visit some friends of ours to go to the park. Can we meet and discuss? I said, okay, come. I was really low. So even going to Nairobi to meet these people was like a get away from me. They said my Chile dream was done. So I went and met this couple. We went to Karen Club, and then they said, okay, what were you telling us you're doing? So I explained. They said, so what's your problem? I said, my problem is I don't know how to go from it. They said, look, these are really people who are experienced. The wife was Austrian and the husband was Italian, but they had lived in Germany. They said, what you need to do is you need to put your business idea together. Your business idea is all over. So that's when I started thinking, okay, what does that mean? They said, fine. Do you have the raw material? Mm-hmm. I said, we can get it. How can we get it? List how you can get it. So I listed through the ministry. So they started giving me ideas. Why don't you go to the Ministry of Agriculture? They could help you identify farmers. So we started now. That was when we formalized. When so I can say
the business wasn't structured.
It wasn't structured. It was all in my head. Mm-hmm. It was just, I don't know if everybody starts business that way, but that is how I started it, and I didn't know how I was going to. When I think back, I probably would never have made it.
There are people listening to you and they can relate, because I know there are a couple of people who their business is all over.
Yeah.
And I think Viwanda Africa is meant to really help you crystallize many ideas that are, in our lives, and be able to structure some of the businesses. I go out there and I find people with very brilliant ideas, but they again are scattered, very scattered. They're doing everything, They do not have business plans, no strategy, nothing. Yeah. I think that's a space that you are in. How did you navigate out of it?
I thank God because of this family or this couple, because they started putting some sense into my head. They said, you have a brilliant idea. I know you're passionate about this, but you must put it in order. Otherwise it will not work. So I said, okay, so what they do? They said, what you do need to do, this Anuga trade fair happens every 2 years. Mm-hmm. So this was already going to the second year. The other one I had attended in 2001. This was going to the second year. Remember, I have a registered business. I have a space in a godown with a machine that is milling 4 kilograms in 24 hours. That's it. And a customer who is interested in a container of chilies.
It must be very noisy.
Yes. And of course, I'd wash it and then I ran out because I'm sneezing myself. So it was so interesting. So they told me, we'll invite you to Germany again. Why don't you come and attend the trade fair? And this time, even meet this customer. Could he break this order into smaller pieces? Then they asked me another question. Do you have the money?
Yes.
I said, I have around 125,000. They looked at me and I think they felt very sorry for me. They said, Margaret, it's not enough. You need around 1 million shillings to somewhere. So I said, so what do I do? They said, okay, we can help you, but we need to be part of the business. So I didn't know what it meant, selling shares and all that. But we went back to Luka Kimaru. He said, oh yeah, you can give them 50%. They put in money and then they recover over a period of years. So I would say that's when Mace Foods got structured. So I went back to Germany for the trade fair, met the customer. The customer said, you should have just told me. I would have broken it into smaller orders. When I came back is when I stopped in Nairobi, and now, when the issue of money is taken care, the customer is quiet, you can focus.
You're right.
So I went now, and another thing that was instilled in me by not only this family friend, but also from the spaces I worked in Germany, Kevin, compliance. I started my business with compliance. I've never had a problem. It's a discipline that I know many Kenyans even today struggle with. Even simple insurance. You know why people don't even take insurance? Because they don't understand the importance of insurance. And compliance to people is a disturbing thing, because they don't understand the power of compliance. And it could be regulatory compliance, it could be tax compliance, it could be human resource compliance, it could be systems compliance, all sorts of compliances.
That's a big animal, and I'm sure when we get back, I want us to delve into that. It's a very detailed discussion. Thank you so much, I really hope you're enjoying the discussion with Margaret Komen. I call her Mama Pili Pili.
Yes.
As I said, Margaret has a lot. Anytime I listen to her, it's like I'm reading a book. And I really hope that this story will inspire you. It will get you to do something. We at Viwanda Africa, what does it take to make cayenne pepper? What does it take to pack this and have it exported to different parts of this world? That's the story we are trying to extract from Margaret Komen, and thank you so much for listening to us. God bless you as we wait for our second part. Thank you.